2 new WRAL weather alert days for the threat of wintry weather. See the new timing of its arrival and what your neighborhood could expect.
And winter weather means roads could be a mess. What steps crews are taking right now to keep you safe during the storm? A global data breach affecting local public schools. What information was stolen and why families weren't notified? We got a pair of WRAL weather alert days for you. We got them locked in for Friday and Saturday. Thank you for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Dan Haggerty. So winter weather is on the way. Our area could see up to 2 inches of snow, but that could kind of depend on where you live. So north of I-85 in the light blue here on the map, you got the best chance of seeing snow. The middle section shaded in pink, more of a mixed bag. So a little snow, a little sleet. To the south in the green there, you're mostly in for a bit of ice and a bit of rain. Let's go to meteorologist Mike Mays. I think I did a pretty good job with that.
You did. You're hired. Come on over.
I shouldn't be the one pointing to maps. We should let you walk people through the details. So what do we got in store this weekend?
Well, the confidence is increasing, Dan, that we will see frozen precipitation. A lot of us will see some snow, especially, as you mentioned, the northern counties. So that's why we have 2 WRAL weather alert days in effect for Friday and into Saturday, accumulating precipitation, like you said, a mixed bag. And there will be driving hazards. The roads will be icy, especially as we head into the evening Friday night, and early Saturday morning, with temperatures hovering around freezing and just below. Now, we're waiting to see what kind of advisories we have issued here. There are winter storm watches in effect from Charlotte all the way to the west. We'll either have a winter weather advisory or even a winter storm watch issued at some point. Now, Futurecast, this is the high resolution run. We'll get a brand new run at 10 on Fox 50 and 11 on WRAL that actually goes through 8 a.m. so we can see the duration of the event. This one ends at 1 a.m. on Saturday morning. And at the onset, showing some light rain moving in, but aloft, the air should be cold enough that we should see some frozen precipitation makes its way to the ground. So there could be snowflakes, wet snowflakes mixed in, and at the onset it would be very light. The precipitation will pick up in the evening on Friday, and some of the roads will be hazardous at this point. Driving will be rough in some spots. We see a mixed bag in our southern counties through 8, 9, 10 o'clock. We see the snow shield push up to the north, and then by 1 a.m. where the model stops, we see freezing rain in the triangle and snow up to the north. Now, snowfall total wise, this is where we're going as of right now. We could see this change as we get new high resolution model data coming in. But right now from Raleigh northward, we're talking about 1 to 2 inches, maybe some isolated totals higher than that, lesser totals to the south. Coming up in less than 15 minutes, I'll have a closer look at town by town futurecasts so we can see what temperatures look like during the event, Dan.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk to you then. But look, we want people to be prepared. Things are going to be changing this weekend. We've learned in the last hour or so that Governor Josh Stein has canceled this weekend's inauguration event because of the winter storm. WRAL will live stream his inauguration speech Saturday at 11 a.m. Taking precautions, though, probably the right move at this point. DOT, they're preparing for the worst. WRAL's Carly Haynes joins us live now in Cary. And Carly, it is up to the cities to prepare their streets. In some areas we know are already brining those roads.
Yes, we have the state and our local municipalities that are working together on this, and we've been talking with the town of Cary, seeing what they've been doing today. They've already hit some of their major roads and some of those neighborhoods. You can see yourself when you're driving around which of those roads have already been hit by those brining trucks, because you'll see those lines coming off of them. And we're learning from some other municipalities that they're going to get started a little later in the week. So we have Knightdale and Raleigh, which will begin brining the roads tomorrow, and then Durham is going to get started on Friday. Dan.
Carla, let's talk about the highways. So you got I-85, I-40, I-95, a lot of really busy areas typically. Hopefully people are going to be staying home if they can. Not everybody can, though. So what's going on with those roads?
You're right, and that's where the Department of Transportation is going to be taking on those interstates. They've already started today as well, but they've been focusing on the highways that are maybe a little less traveled, and then they're going to begin some of those more high trafficked areas, such as those interstates, starting tomorrow. But they've got 15,000 miles of road that they have to cover in salt brine, so it is certainly a big task to take on for them.
Yeah, probably why they're starting early, too, about 48 hours now out from the storm.
Right. Yeah. Getting an early head start on that. They're not anticipating rain over the next few days, so they're able to do that. So some of that brine won't pick up. But that brine that we're seeing even right here on the road next to us, that's going to serve as a barrier between the ice and the road. But even though they're taking these precautions, they're hoping that people will stay home, both for safety reasons and also to keep this brine on the road.
We've all learned how to work remotely over the last few years. If you can, please stay home. It makes our job easier, We're able to plow. It makes you safer. It makes our emergency vehicles access much easier. So stay home if you can.
And starting today, this is a 24/7 operation. So the town of Cary, they have their public works that are working out of their ops center, and they are going to stay there until after this weather event. Dan.
Very busy. All right. Thank you, Carly. We appreciate it. Hey, everybody at home, we want to see your photos and your videos as the snow is coming through your area. Please let us see it. Send them to report it through WRAL.com and the WRAL News app. And we hope to feature some of what you show us on the air, give people an idea of what's going on in your neck of the woods. And you can also expect live weather updates throughout Friday and Saturday on WRAL News Plus. That's over on the over-the-air on Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257. Let's get you caught up now on some of the other big headlines from today. Here are the 5 things you should know right now. New tonight, Raleigh police arrested a suspect in a deadly downtown shooting that happened in the middle of the day. This all happened Saturday at the parking deck right across from Marbles Kids Museum, an area that a lot of families know well. 45-year-old Damian Smith was shot and killed. Solomon Campbell is now charged with murder. Attorneys representing Austin Thompson, the teen who's accused of killing 5 people in a mass shooting in Raleigh, wants his trial to be moved to 2026. It's scheduled to start this September, but the defense wants some more time to prepare. A mitigation specialist involved in this case and a doctor that examined Thompson, they've each said more time they think is needed for interviews and to examine all of the evidence. A firefighter was hurt in a crash involving a fire truck in Knightdale. Sky 5 here over that scene at Hoppy Hill Drive near Pool Road. The town says the fire truck was responding to a fire in that area at the time, and the car crashed into it. The driver of that car went to the hospital, and a firefighter was also injured. Workers at the Amazon warehouse in Garner will vote on whether to become the first unionized Amazon facility in the South. That vote scheduled for February 10th through the 15th. If successful, this would be only the second Amazon warehouse in the country to form a union. No more social district in the Village District. The request for a sip and stroll in the Raleigh Shopping Center was withdrawn by its management company. Apparently people living in that area were just complaining about the idea. They didn't like it, and it appears they're going to get their way. Millions of students and teacher records are at risk in North Carolina. A hacker stole data from something called Power School. Now, if you don't know what that is, ask your wife. That's what I had to do. Look, we do different stuff in the house, all right? I'm the dad. She does the kids and the school stuff. But it is a big deal, and it's something that a lot of us, everybody, should know about because it pertains to personal data that is stored in that system. WRL's Destiny Patterson explains which data was accessed and why officials didn't alert parents.
An essential piece of the learning environment, Power School. It's used for assignments, communication, and a hub of student data. Hacked.
These hackers are getting more advanced every day.
A Power School employee's credentials were compromised during a malware attack, putting millions of student and teacher records at risk in North Carolina.
The Department of Public Instruction tells me that they found out about this breach Tuesday, 10 days after the company initially discovered it. I asked Power School why they took so long to notify DPI of this breach, and they didn't directly answer my question, only noting that they were trying to ensure accuracy to its customers.
Vanessa Wren with DPI says they're still trying to identify the scope of the breach. She expects names and addresses to be the main concerns for both students and staff. Power School says the hacker also stole some social security numbers, and now we're working to confirm if that was the case here in North Carolina.
When can parents expect to get notification of this?
We are working with Power School. Power School will be responsible, and we'll work with them to do that notification.
A Power School spokesperson told me the incident is contained and we do not anticipate the data being shared or made public. Wren stands by that.
We are confident in the information that we've received that the data has been contained and that data was destroyed.
What does data being destroyed actually mean?
When unauthorized access to data has happened, you want to make sure whoever obtained that data does not have it in their possession, that it can be used somewhere else.
Law enforcement will keep an eye out for data on the dark web. NC Central's cybersecurity lab director says students and staff should do the same.
You need to monitor those accounts as well to make sure nothing happens.
The new state superintendent, Mo Green, says the department will evaluate its own security.
So it may be nothing that changes on our end because this was out of our control, but it may be something.
Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, Raleigh.
All right, some of the other dads behind the camera giving me a hard time. I didn't know what Power School was. We're not here to judge. It is worth mentioning, though, that North Carolina public schools are moving away from Power School, and they're moving to something called Infinite Campus. In 2023, the State Board of Education voted to move public schools to this Infinite Campus, but everyone isn't there yet. So take a look at this map. It shows the counties that have left Power School. So about half of North Carolina's 100 counties have made that switch. There are also several charter schools and city school districts that have switched as well. Pretty much all of the major urban areas, though, so Raleigh and Durham, Charlotte, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, they are all still on Power School. Those areas and any other schools still using that program are set to move to the Infinite Campus on July 1st. PFAS is a real problem in North Carolina's drinking water. Officials say they have a plan, though, to clean it up before it reaches your tap. But it won't be cheap. And we've shown you a ton of this video of crews brining the streets ahead of the storm. We're going to give you a little reminder of why we always use this stuff right after the break. Millions of North Carolinians are exposed to harmful chemicals in their drinking water called PFAS. There's a new plan now discussed just today. It aims to stop that pollution before it reaches the tap. WRAL's Liz McLaughlin shows us what the state is doing to tackle this problem.
Today, state officials talked about ways to keep PFAS chemicals out of our water. Forever chemicals are in everyday items like cookware and makeup, and they're nearly impossible to get rid of.
It's everywhere, so that's why they struggle with how do you address this. It's in just residential waste. It's in the industrial waste. It's in our drinking water.
The state is considering a plan to have companies check how much PFAS they're releasing into the water. If levels are too high, they'll need to check more often and figure out how to cut back.
They would look at what they discharge, and they would look and see if they have PFAS in their discharge, and they would work toward minimize it, maybe substitute a product line or materials.
The problem is widespread, with more than 3 million North Carolinians facing PFAS levels above federal limits. State efforts to pass stricter rules for companies have faced pushback. Now they hope this plan can minimize the pollution in surface water.
So we have to balance those three: the costs, the benefits, and the environmental.
Advocates say more action is needed to hold polluters accountable.
Forever chemicals are connected to a whole host of health implications and health challenges. We have widespread contamination in North Carolina, so this is particularly important to a state like ours.
The state is still in early stages of its plan, but officials will meet again in February to figure out next steps. Liz McLaughlin, WRAL News.
Thank you to Liz. Now, look, we've been talking about it a lot, but boy, oh boy, we haven't seen this graphic in a while, have we? Winter weather. It has been more than 1,000 days since our last snow. That streak most likely coming to an end on Friday. Of course, you probably knew that already. We've only reminded you like 15,000 times. Get ready for more reminders. They're going to be coming, and for good reason. This wintry mix, be it snow and ice featuring sleet, can be dangerous, and we want you to be prepared for that. And that's why DOT crews are out there brining the roads. That's that liquid solution we were telling you about earlier. You see it here, getting spewed from the back of those tanker trucks. Now, DOT is all about the brine. Check out the sign they have at the facility where they store it. Welcome to Brine Mountain. So these folks, they got a sense of humor. I like it. I'm here for it. So what's the deal with the brine, though? You may recall we don't always brine ahead of a winter storm, and that's true. It all depends on the weather that comes before it. If it was going to be raining today, those tanker trucks probably wouldn't be out there brining because the rain will just wash it all away. But it's going to be dry between now and Friday, so the brine will work perfectly. Chef's kiss. So the trucks are out. And this stuff can be really effective. Typically, water will freeze on the road when it reaches 32 degrees. We remember that from science class. But with brine, the roads can reach temperatures as cold as 18 degrees before icing over, which can be really helpful considering the road is always a few degrees warmer than the air, meaning our temps would have to be in the single digits or low teens for a properly brined road to freeze over. Now, in North Carolina, the brine solution we use here contains 23% salt and sometimes up to 10% calcium. Now, that calcium kind of supercharges the brine, but it'll also munch your car. I don't choose the word munch, all right? The Washington Post did. They posted this article. It says munch, and it's true. Brine is a big-time muncher. It can damage the components on the bottom of your car. So when you head out on the road, all right, if you're out on the road during any of this, even today before the storm, and you encounter some of that brine, be sure to pull into the car wash next week. Take care of your car. Anything else you want to know on Friday's storm, let me know. Send me an email, dan@WRAL.com. Tell me what is on your mind, and we will go in depth on brine or anything else. Did we cover it, Mike?
Oh, you
How
did.
was that?
Great
Have
job.
we talked enough about brine? I think we have.
Yes, you have.
Let's talk snow instead.
And you mentioned that graphic. We haven't had wintry weather. It's been 1,075 days since we had measurable snow out at RDU. And something we haven't seen yet so far, our tower lit in white. And I think Friday night it will be lit in white. Tonight it's blue because we have clear sky. So we do expect that snow to be moving in late in the day on Friday into Friday night. So check out our forecast, or if you're driving down Western Boulevard, just be very careful. You'll see it lit in white for the first time. We've never done that. Excited about that. 32 and even freezing out at RDU. And take a look at the temperatures in the wind chill. It's 28, feeling like 19 in Roxborough, 30 feeling like 24 in South Hill. Wind chill will be an issue tonight because the winds will pick up as a secondary system comes on by, bringing colder air. Here's our hour-by-hour wind chill by 11 o'clock here on the Triangle, feeling like 19. By 3 a.m., feeling like 16. By 6 a.m., feeling like 13. So as you head out in the morning, especially the kids, have them dress in layers because throughout the day, the wind chill will be an issue. And this is the wind chill forecast for 7 a.m. Roxborough as low as 5. Now, some of the colder rural areas will likely see single-digit wind chills, so keep that in mind. 14 in Raleigh is what it could feel like. 14 in Fayetteville, 12 at Goldsboro, a mighty cold start. There's our storm system to the south and west. It will wind up tomorrow across the southern plains and then take aim at us on Friday. So let's take a look at hour-by-hour futurecast with temperatures. So we start off with frigid lows on Friday morning. The clouds begin to build in. We have enough sunshine where temperatures should get up to the 30s to about 40 degrees. Then the precipitation rolls in. Initially, cold enough aloft for it to fall as some light snow. Futurecast showing rain. Not totally in agreement with that, but we will see what we get. Initially, temperatures warm enough where there won't be accumulation, but by Friday evening at 7 o'clock, temperatures are dipping. So what falls frozen will accumulate, especially on elevated surfaces. And if it comes down heavy enough, will eventually accumulate on roads, making driving hazardous. Through the evening at 10 o'clock, still saving a spattering of frozen precipitation. The pink is a wintry mix. The blue is all snow. Heading into the overnight as we switch over to low resolution model data, upper 20s to low 30s. So again, whatever falls that's frozen will accumulate, especially on elevated surfaces, perhaps on roads as well. We want you to stay home during the overnight period, Friday into Saturday morning if you can, because that's when the roads are going to be the most treacherous. And then the system pulls out in the morning on Saturday, leaving us with sunshine in the afternoon. Brand new run of the European model. Look at the numbers now. There's more moisture to work with. So now it's pumping out 2.7 for Raleigh, maybe up to 4 inches in parts of northern Warren County. So this is a sign that there could be more moisture to work with and maybe higher snowfall totals. We'll have a brand new run of Futurecast coming up tonight at 10 on Fox 1511 on WRAL. So this is what we expect over the next 7 days. 38 tomorrow.
One last thing to talk about tonight. Abraham Mitchell, better known as Mr. CIAA, has died at the age of 95. His signature style was a highlight of the CIAA basketball tournament. Mitchell wasn't a coach, he wasn't a player or some big shot donor, no. In fact, by trade, he was a mortician and a huge basketball fan. He started his mid-game outfit changes back in the 1970s, and by 2016, he was voted into the CIAA Hall of Fame. Today, the conference wrote his remarkable legacy will endure for generations to come. Tonight, we leave you with a story from WRAL's Ken Smith, Mr. CIAA in his element, the way fans will remember him. Thanks for watching us tonight at 7. Have a great night.
Say Mr. CIAA around here, and everyone knows who you're talking about. He's been a fixture at this tournament for decades, and now a member of the CIAA Hall of Fame. Whenever Mr. CIAA steps into the arena during this basketball event, he is a showstopper.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop for the great picture.
Everyone wants a picture with him, some any way they can get it, because he is constantly on the move and in high demand.
All right, my friend.
How does that make you feel?
it makes me feel good. Everybody says, you don't hear about it. I said, no, I can if you want one, I do get it. So it doesn't bother me at all. I enjoy the people that are interested in taking pictures with me.
His name is actually Abraham Mitchell. When fans started calling him Mr. CIAA back more than 30 years ago, he stepped up his game and his popularity soared.
Look how awesome he looks, and he looks so young. And he just, I don't know, he's part of the CIAA.
He's a bad man. Clean. Mr. Clean.
There's no CIAA without Mr. CIAA. And fashion is just unique.
When he's parading his one-of-a-kind tailor-made suits, he says he makes anywhere from 4 to 8 quick changes before the final whistle blows on the court. He says he loves it and was humbled by the honor of being named to the CIAA Hall of Fame.
When I received the letter, I just didn't know what to say. I was really thrilled.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.